One strained quad just yanked the WNBA's billion-dollar dream to the edge of a cliff. In 60 seconds, the league's hottest ticket, Caitlin Clark, went from headline machine to ghost on the injury list. And every owner, advertiser, and armchair hater felt the floorboards creak. But the real shock isn't the pain throbbing in her left leg. It's the trail of negligence, greed, and silent grudges that may have pushed the league's golden goose off the ledge. Stick around, because the muscle that tore might not be the only thing about to snap. The injury nobody wanted to see. Doctors stamped the chart with a brutal truth. Left quad strain, minimum 2 weeks off the hardwood. It's the first real game Clark has missed since she was a teenager, yet the warning flares were blazing long before the MRI confirmed it. During that May 24th showdown with New York, cameras caught her wrapping a steaming heat pad around the same thigh between possessions, an unmistakable SOS from a body already screaming. Still, she laced up, flashed jumpers, and absorbed every shoulder check the refs pretended not to notice. After the buzzer, she finally texted the trainers. Something felt wrong. Only then did coach Stephanie White learn her star had been grinding on adrenaline all night. This wasn't an isolated tweak. She'd skipped the preseason opener with tightness in that exact muscle. Same leg, same story, higher stakes. When a strain resurfaces this fast, it isn't coincidence. It's a pattern, and patterns expose everyone who ignored the first signs. Athletic trainers now reveal the MRI showed low-grade tearing through the vastus lateralis, the engine behind her explosive first step. Left untreated, that kind of micro-damage cascades up the kinetic chain, hamstring pulls, hip impingements, even stress fractures. League insiders whisper, Fever staff wanted her to sit one game back in preseason, but marketing brass feared ticket refunds, so Clark soldiered on. Every Logo 3 she launched was a warning flare nobody dared read. The league faces calculus, protect its star or protect its profits. Clark's body cast the tie-breaking vote, starting now. Target practice, gone too far. For 2 seasons, Clark has been the league's crash test dummy. Jersey grabs at tip-off, hip checks that rattle her ribs, elbows disguised as fighting through screens. Word spread fast. Rough her up early. Refs swallow the whistle, and the broadcast reels love the chaos. By May, her arms looked like a bruise map of the lower 48. Coaches on rival benches literally shouted, bump her every touch, trusting Engelbert's office wouldn't dare suspend half the league's starters. ESPN milked the slow-mo carnage for click. Meanwhile, Clark's quad absorbed a year of punishment in 30 days, micro-tears stacking like overdue bills. When bullying gets rebranded as tough defense, injury stops feeling accidental. It becomes the logical next scene. Now the cost of every unchecked shove is about to echo through half-empty arenas and panicked sponsor calls, and the fallout has only started. Money shockwave. The moment Indiana's press release hit social media, cash registers across the league jammed shut. On StubHub, floor seat prices for the Fever Sky rematch nosedived from $300 to barely $75 in 12 hours. Washington's front office, so confident it moved the June 8 game to a 15,000-seat arena in Baltimore, scrambled to answer refund requests from families who only cared about seeing number 22 break the logo again. Chicago faces an even uglier math problem. The United Center costs 6 figures a night to rent. Thousands of empties will stare straight into ESPN's cameras, branding the new era a mirage. Broadcasters are sweating too. That May Fever Sky showdown pulled 2.7 million viewers, the richest rating in league history, and Madison Avenue paid premium CPMs to ride the Clark Comet. Now ad buyers are phoning networks for make goods, code for give us free spots until she's back. Insiders whisper that one regional carrier wrote a clause allowing them to slash rights fees if average ratings drop 40%. They just ticked the calculator and smiled. Owners feel it in merch as well. Clark's jersey moved more units in 6 weeks than any WNBA star has sold in 6 years. Overnight, Shopify dashboards flatlined. One exec admitted off record, Caitlin is 25% of our entire revenue pie. We just lost a quarter of the bakery. That's the real injury. Not a torn quadricep, but a torn business model. The league built its empire on a single star. Now every spreadsheet is hemorrhaging red ink while she ices her leg. Celebration, or something rotten beneath the floorboards. The press release hadn't cooled on X before a darker chorus kicked in. In Angel Reese and Chicago Sky fan circles, the injury news wasn't met with concern. It was greeted with giddy W memes, confetti gifs, and jeers of karma's real. One post cheering her season-ending ACL racked up 10,000 likes before moderators stepped in. Never mind that Clark's ACL is perfectly intact. Others claimed she was pulling a stunt for sympathy, as if the quad strain were Hollywood prosthetics and the MRI a prop receipt. For every Fever supporter typing, "Get well soon, CC," 10 trolls were pounding laugh emoji reactions. Why the bile? Because for months, the league's laissez-faire refs turned physical bullying into mainstream sport. When viewers watch defenders yank Clark's jersey on national TV with no whistle, they learn a simple lesson. She's fair game. That permission slip doesn't expire at the buzzer. It cashes out online where anonymity emboldens spite. The league's silence on hard fouls mutated into into a fan culture that sees her pain as comedic payoff, not tragic collateral. In back-channel Slack rooms, WNBA social staff flagged the surge of hate as unprecedented. Sponsors noticed. One apparel partner privately asked if their logo could be pulled from the Fever's injury update graphic. They didn't want screenshots of cheering haters under their brand. When cruelty becomes the trending soundtrack to your top star's misfortune, it isn't just a PR hiccup. It's evidence of rot spreading from floor to timeline, seeded by every ignored whistle, leadership vacuum. When the league's golden goose hobbled off court, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert released a 90-word statement. Player health is paramount. We wish Caitlin a speedy recovery. That was it. No pledge to investigate the phantom whistles, no promise of tougher discipline, not even a hint of regret for letting mayhem masquerade as physicality. The silence landed like a gavel. Players read it as permission for the roughhouse to continue, while execs heard the cash leak hissing louder. Inside headquarters, panic raced ahead of policy. An emergency Zoom with team owners turned into a blame chain. Coaches faulted refs cited guidance from above, owners fumed that marketing had oversold one kid. By midnight, an internal memo ordered officials to tighten freedom of movement calls, league speak for maybe blow the whistle next time somebody gets yanked backward by a ponytail. Yet the directive came with no public rollout, leaving fans, and more importantly, athletes, wondering if anything would truly change. Veteran stars felt the whiplash. One all-WNBA forward privately told reporters, "They guard Caitlin like it's rugby because nobody in New York gets fined." Another compared Engelbert's management style to firefighting with a thimble. Even broadcast partners begged for a press conference to steady the optics. The request was politely shelved. Leadership isn't tested by ticket tape and record ratings. It's tested the moment the corner beam cracks. Engelbert had a once-in-a-generation star and a once-in-a-generation spotlight. Both now flicker while she drafts email memos in the dark. Up next, either the refs reset the rules in real time, or the league's credibility limps right beside its missing superstar. Fever on life support, or Phoenix rising? Indiana's analytics board tells the horror story in neon red. With Clark, the Fever hum at a 107.5 offensive rating. Yank her off the floor, and they nosedive to 82.2, dead last in any modern season. That gap isn't a dip, it's a canyon. Yet Coach Stephanie White walked into practice with a clipboard, not a funeral program. Her plan pivots on 3 pillars. Aaliyah Boston, back to the block. Last year, 39% of Boston's touches came from old-school post-ups. This season, it's barely 18. White flips the switch. Boston now becomes the gravitational center, catching deep seals instead of rim running off Clark's pick and rolls. Kelsey Mitchell, full-time engine. Mitchell already dropped 16 a night, but she's about to live with the ball in her hands. White hands her the keys, probe, collapse, kick, repeat. If Mitchell can average 8 dimes while keeping her jumper lethal, the offense breathes again. Depth gets its audition. Veterans Natasha Howard and Dana Bonner were signed for storms like this. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull move from spot shooters to 12-shot-per-game scorers. White drills new off-ball actions, flare screens and inline cuts designed to yank help defenders away from Boston's post touches. Privately, the staff sees a hidden upside. Clark, sidelined with a tablet and earpiece, is essentially taking a crash course in sideline PhD, studying opponents' weak side rotations, logging real-time notes, hearing the play calls she usually delivers. When she returns, they expect a player who processes the game a half-beat faster, exactly what superstars gain when adversity forces them into the film room. Survive the next 6 games. Washington, Connecticut, Chicago, Dallas, and Indiana could re-emerge forged, not fractured. But blow those opportunities, and the standings will bury them before Clark's quad even cools. The Fever season now balances between a cliff and a launch pad. Every possession from here decides which. The MVP domino effect. Caitlin's exit didn't just rip a hole in ticket sales, it detonated the awards race overnight. Sportsbooks yanked Clark's MVP odds off the board within hours, then reposted a reshuffled deck. Nafisa Collier roared to the top after back-to-back 30 pieces that looked downright spiteful, while Aja Wilson lurks a breath behind, stacking double-doubles like alibis. Even Brianna Stewart, ice-cold 2 weeks ago, suddenly finds every rim wider. The narrative vacuum begs for a new heroine, and vets can smell the hardware. Endorsement reps are moving just as fast. One sneaker exec leaked that Collier's agent fielded 3 fresh pitches the morning Clark's MRI hit Twitter. Windows like this don't stay open, he shrugged. Translation: if you can't hitch your brand to Clark, latch onto whoever torches the next primetime slot. But the frenzy carries risk. The same cameras itching for a replacement darling will magnify every off night. One 4 for 17 performance, and the storyline snaps back to league searches for star power. That's the burden Clark normally shoulders. Now it's a rotating spotlight few are ready for. Quietly, coaches whisper that her absence may tilt playoff seeding too. Fever losses bump rival win percentages, which could reshuffle first-round matchups and let a mid-tier squad dodge Vegas or New York until the semis. A single torn muscle is rewriting brackets, shoe deals, even legacies in real time. Yet all these dominoes lead back to the same question: can the league rebuild its house before the cornerstone returns? Next, we face the crossroads that decides exactly that. Crossroads moment 26 seasons in, the WNBA finally snagged a headliner who could tilt Nielsen meters and crash ticket portals, then let her limp into the locker room under a fog of bruises and missed whistles. Now the league stands at a fork where every direction carries a price tag. Path 1. Protect the product. Announce a mid-season officiating overhaul, issue retroactive fines for the worst hacks, and hire a full-time medical czar to flag chronic overuse before limbs give out. It's expensive and risks backlash from vets who've built their reputations on old-school physicality, but it tells fans and sponsors that stars are investments, not crash dummies. Path 2. Paper over the fissures. Run a feel-good, her time, her story ad blitz. Pray Collier or Wilson keeps ratings afloat, and hope short memories outlast Clark's rehab. Cheaper in the moment, deadly in the long run. One more marquee injury, and the narrative calcifies. Women's hoops can't keep its icons healthy. Path 3. Double down on spectacle. Lean into rivalry storylines, mic'd up trash talk, maybe even float a mid-season tourney to manufacture drama. But add fireworks without guardrails, and the next headline could read, Fractured tibia, ends breakout rookie season. Viewers tune in for conflict. They stay for excellence. Lose the latter, and the former curdles into sideshow. Owners, referees, and TV partners all know the score. If Clark's return footage shows a league unchanged, same body blows, same shrugging zebras, casual fans will shrug back and exit. Conversely, a visible reset could spin this calamity into proof of progress. The moment basketball's fastest-growing property learned to safeguard its future, the clock is already ticking louder than any arena buzzer. Rehabilitation timelines are finite. Reputational scars linger. Which response the W chooses in the next 6 weeks will decide whether Caitlin Clark comes back to a sturdier stage or to a sport one slip away from collapse. Sting in the tail conclusion. One strained quad has exposed a fault line that money, marketing, and highlight reels can't plaster over. The league's sudden freefall in tickets, ratings, and goodwill isn't really about Caitlin Clark's leg. It's about the culture that lets star power be battered for sport and monetized for profit. The WNBA can treat this as a final warning and rebuild, enforce whistles, safeguard bodies, and prove that longevity, not viral bruises, drives its future. Or it can shrug, pray for quick rehab, and watch the empty seats multiply until echo replaces crowd noise. A crossroads doesn't wait. Choose evolution or face extinction. What happens next could rewrite every marketing deck in pro sports history. Ready for the next chapter? Tap the video now appearing on screen to see how this entire saga began, and decide for yourself whether the league can still pull off a comeback.